Hello, and welcome to my very first knitting podcast. My name is Nikki. I am a knitter based out of Southern California. I'm originally from the South. If you ever hear any kind of twang, that's why. But this is my very first podcast. I'm calling this channel and this podcast, I guess, Wool and Wags, because as you can imagine, I, as a knitter, love wool and I also love wags. I have the most precious baby dog in the world. Her name is Lady. She goes by many different things, but mainly Lady, Ladybug, Pretty Princess, etc., etc. She may make a surprise appearance at some point throughout the video if she feels needy. So if she does, consider myself, yourself, our screens blessed. But yes, I am starting a podcast, starting a YouTube channel, which is very weird because I hate cameras. I never even take photos of myself really. So the whole process of this has been definitely a learning curve. But before we started, I kind of did just want to touch on the whole podcast space in general. I know it was probably last week I watched a video from this creator talking about knitting podcast and the space in general and why podcasts may be dying. And as you can imagine, like a week before starting my own, it was a little disheartening to say the least to watch. But I don't think anything that she said was wrong. It has definitely, I know even one of my favorite podcasters has like, I don't think she's posted in a few months, but it's definitely disheartening. But I don't really care. Hot take. But I'm creating this podcast out of necessity, is what I'm going to say, because I have no knitting community. Try as I might, none of my friends or family have started knitting or crocheting, and I have tried, I promise. Um, and my closest local yarn store is about 45 minutes from me. I don't know if that's just because of like Southern California in general, but it's pretty far, and our local knitting nights happen monthly on a Friday, and I work on Fridays. So it's a bummer. And it was actually after going to Flock and just being in that environment that I realized that I crave community when it comes to my knitting so badly. So I just figured I would start this and hopefully create my own virtual community. So we'll kind of see where it goes. I know that my friends and family will probably be thankful that maybe this will lessen the amount of knitting, yarn, crocheting talk that they get. One of my friends has absolutely no interest, and every time I send her a picture, I've finally had to tell her to just send back ooh ah, just ooh and ah at my work. That's all I need. So, anyways, it probably won't because I'll probably still want to share with them, even though they couldn't care less. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the origin, the reason, the purpose behind my channel. I'm definitely going to follow a traditional format of finished objects, works in project, works in progress, excuse me, and acquisitions in the beginning, and just kind of see where it goes. Maybe adjust to find my own lane. Um, we'll see. But today we have a sort of exciting, I guess, episode. It's the first one, so it's the most exciting that's ever been out for me. I It was kind of hard to decide like, okay, what do I include as finished objects, because technically everything that I've ever made before this episode is a finished object that could be included, but we're not doing that. So today's finished objects are kind of weird. I kind of got in a mode last week, I guess with the first week of September. Um, I just wanted some fall in my life. And I try not to buy a lot of seasonal decor just because consumption, I don't know, it's consumption. That just made me think of the like joke or the line from the movie Weapons, if you've seen it. But anyways, so I decided I wanted to make some. So the first finished object. Yay! First finished object of the podcast ever. So let's go ahead and get them out. I'm not going to attempt to like hold them up for you because I have no idea where I am in this frame. I'm hoping it's in a good place. But I have taken lots of pictures and like cropped them, edited them to make them hopefully look good. So, anyways, the first finished object I have are these two baby pumpkins, which are just the cutest things in the world. This pattern is pumpkin number one by Elwina Designs. You'll learn this about me. I'm terrible at pronunciation, so excuse me. But yes, pumpkin number one, it's a free pattern, which is nice because I can just talk freely about it. But I made these two pumpkins just to have around the house. The very first one I made is this little cream one. I made this in Knitting for Olive, merino, and soft silk mohair. They were just leftovers. They were scraps that I had from my champagne cardigan that I made way earlier this year. But yeah, I still have lots of scraps, so I could make a ton more. But I feel like there's only so many like little pumpkins that you need around your house. But it made a very cute pumpkin. For the stem, I used Knitting for Olive Brown Bear, which was scraps from a hat or a beanie, a Oslo beanie that I made for my best friend's husband. It was a very quick and easy project. You cast on, I think it was 69 stitches. I'm not sure. You cast on a certain number of stitches, and it's just a tube that you knit. Um, sorry, it's just a tube. You knit so many knits, do a purl that kind of helps create these ridges. That was something that was super important for me for my pumpkin pattern. I wanted it to have ridges. I don't think it's a pumpkin without these little slices that it makes. So, and then all of the finishings is how you really get the look, which I won't go into all of that, but you can definitely look at the pattern. It's a free download. I definitely think it's worth it if you have scraps. It was fun. The second one is made with loops and threads facets yarn, which I have here. It's a beautiful yarn. It is acrylic. It's in the color, excuse me, it's in the color autumn, which was perfect. And that can kind of transition us into our second finished object, which again, I'll post a photo. I'm looking at it, so I was like, oh, I could get it, but no, I'll post a photo of it. It is a pillow cover in the loops and threads facet yarn in the color autumn. It is a crochet finished object. It took so long, even though it was double crochet, it took so long. Um, I have this throw pillow. It did have a crochet cover on it before, which I did salvage. Like I took it off and washed it. It may go back on, may not. I wasn't in love with it. But now I have this beautiful autumnal pillow and I love it. Not much to say about it. Used the same yarn, used a 4 millimeter hook, and yeah, it took forever. But those are our two finished objects, or I guess three finished objects, two patterns, three finished objects. Oh, and the pillow cover was self-drafted. Like I just kind of crocheted until I thought it would fit. Okay, sorry. All over the place. Next is the whips. The whips are probably what's going to take me the longest. So let's get through it. So for our first whip, it is this here. And again, I'll post photos of everything because I'm not going to be good at showing it all. But this is a sort of Sophie shawl. Like most of us, or not most of us, I won't put that on everybody, but like a lot of us, petite knit can be a little frustrating in the way that she does her patterns. I definitely respect as a designer the Crayabea and how she does her patterns, where you may pay more for the pattern, but it comes in different weights, in different modifications that you can do. So having that versus petite knit where she'll post for sale a different pattern in a different weight, a different size, a like a mohair version. seems crazy, but I'm not here to petite knit slander really, because a lot of my patterns are by her as a semi beginner knitter. I don't know if I'll ever not be a beginner knitter, but I feel like this is my first year that I've been knitting. Anyways, tangent. My first whip is the semi Sophie shawl. I call it that because I didn't buy the pattern. I did knit the Sophie scarf and buy that pattern. Like most of us, it was probably, well, not, I keep saying most of us, like I know you, but parasocial, if anybody's even watching this, like me, it was my first pattern, like a lot of people I've seen online. And I just didn't want to pay for the shawl version. I could kind of figure out, okay, if I do this many increases for the Sophie shawl, I could, I could kind of figure it out. So, pause. Okay, the Sophie shawl. It is a little janky. I probably should have bought the pattern, or I should have just looked back at the Sophie scarf to see how the decreases were done, because I kind of like played around with how I did them, but also didn't want to go back and change them. So there's just a few different types of decreases in this shawl. So the yarn is Studio Misha, and Puff merino wool in the color fig. It's this beautiful color which I am obsessed with. Another whip is very close to this color. Um, I bought this yarn from my local yarn store. I didn't really know anything about the yarn. I still don't really know anything about the yarn. I'm pretty sure it's superwash. It's a very like bouncy, like feeling yarn. Um, I'm not even 100% sure if I'm going to get any use out of that shawl because, again, I live in Southern California and I'm not 100% sure if a shawl like that is my style. Out of necessity, it would be if I was like back in the South where I'm from, but just like as an accessory for fun, I don't know if I'm going to get much use out of it. But at this point, I'm just ready to get it off the needles and for it to be not a whip anymore. So, yeah, I am on the decreases. I did strategically, when I wound the yarn up into cakes, I strategically sectioned it off or cut my yarn so that I had half for the increases. And then I knew, okay, when you're done with this, start the decreases. So that's nice, at least that I'll know I'll use all of that yarn up and won't have to think about it again. Okay, so whip number two. This is what I would consider like my main whip right now. It is the Cloud Blouse by Petite Knit. Um, Again, Petite Knit. I told you I won't slander her too much because she is most of my knit wardrobe right now. But I literally said I wasn't going to pull these out, but here I am. As you can see, same-ish color, but I do think it is beautiful. Let me put that away. Okay, so the Cloud Blouse, it is fingering weight. This is my first fingering weight garment, and it is a lot. Um, it's a lot. It's gonna take me probably a very long time, but I'm actually about to travel for like a mini vacation and go see my friends and family back home. And I'm hoping it'll be a very good project. It'll be one or two. Sorry, lady. Hey, no, no, Lilix. She's rolling her eyes at me, I'm sure. Anyways, I think it'll be a good project to take back home. Just work on it forever. It'll be probably one of two. I'll probably take a sock to work on as well. But yeah, so the yarn, I bought this yarn at Flock Fiber Festival in Seattle, which was just a little over a month ago now. It is a new to me yarn dyer. The name of the yarn dyer is Plies and Hellhounds. It is their Selkie base. I had to look all of this up because the actual um, what is this called? Label had a lot of words, and I was like, okay, what is the color? What is the base? So it's the Selkie base, which is an 85% non superwash and a 15% silk. And then the color is called Yugen, which I did look up, and its definition is something that is profound, mysterious, and aesthetically pleasing, which I do find this yarn very aesthetically pleasing. Now we have a visitor. Come here. Come here. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Oh, sweet girl. Okay. I think she's going to be here for a little while because she's feeling needy. Anyways, so she just burped. I'm not sure if you got that, but she's not even eating. I don't know what she's burping. Mwah. Okay. Will you go lay down? That's a no. That is a no. Go lay down, baby. Go lay down. Okay. Intermission over. Okay. So Plies and Hellhounds, the Yugen base, very, very nice. Um, I watched a YouTube video before I went to Flock, which I'm so glad that I watched it. I have no idea what the name of the creator was. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But she posted her before Flock plans, like her kind of rules, or I guess you would call them rules that she was making for herself. And one of the things that she said that really resonated with me was that she was looking for yarn bases or what do you call it? Combinations of the base. There's a word for this. I don't know. She was looking for things that were like not traditional. She didn't want to buy a ton of 100% superwash merino because that's something that's pretty easily accessible to most of us. Um, so I took that to heart, and I'm very glad that I did. It wasn't something that I thought about because this was my first fiber festival, and I was just excited. But I was very glad that she said that. So this specifically was one that spoke to me because again, it's non-superwash, which is very nice for hand dyed, and silk, and so and fingering weight. So this is a great Southern California yarn for me and future cloud blouse. That being said, knitting with it on 3mm needles, it's a slug. It's a slug. And also, I knit with Chiago needles, metal needles, that silk. It does not seem like 15% silk is a lot. It slides off my needles so bad. I'm pretty sure the whip is in here, and I'm pretty sure some of the loops are not on the needles right now, and I don't even want to think about it. But either way, it's making a beautiful object. I'm really excited to have it finished. I'm hoping that it's elevated enough because I think that all knitwear, like even if you're knitting a t-shirt, it looks a little bit more elevated than a cotton t-shirt. Anyways, what I'm saying is I hope that it's elevated enough that I can wear it with some nice dress pants for like a work event in the winter, maybe because it's a very beautiful wintry color to me. But anyways, that's my cloud blouse. Hopefully it's not a whip next time you see it, but because it is a fingering weight object, it very well may be. And no judgment here. All right, our third work in progress is it's a half whip, half finished object. It is a sock. I am new to knitting socks. This will be my third pair once I finish it. I bought So the sock knitting journey, I said, I don't understand why anyone would do that. I'm never going to do it. Then I got into Sorella yarn. I started seeing her yarn on other knitting podcasts and then followed her on Instagram and fell in love with her yarn. But I was like, it's not feasible for me to buy this yarn and make a garment. So I bought from her the very first time during her Wicked collection, and I bought the color, I think it was Shiz University. And I bought it as sock yarn, but I bought two skeins of it, planning to hold it double to make a hat. And that superwash. It was my first time ever working with superwash yarn, and I could not get the gauge for an Oslo beanie with that yarn, and I was so frustrated. And then I was like, you know what? No. So it was right before I was going to go to flock. I was like, I am just going to learn how to knit socks. Because when I go to flock, I want to be able to buy from a lot of different vendors. And the easiest way to do that is to buy sock yarn. So I didn't start the sock until after. Well, no, that's not true. I did start the sock well before flock, but just put it away once I got to the toe. So I was like, oh, that seems fiddly. It was after I got back from flock that I was like, I'm going to get down and just do it. And I did, and I made my first ever pair of socks. I'll put a photo here. They're lovely. They are too small in the foot length. Then I made my second pair of socks with yarn that I got from flock, and they fit a little bit better. And it's actually that those socks were Sorella yarn as well. I'll put a picture of those as well. That was the color Pirates of the Caribbean and a random mini. And then we have the third pair of socks I'm ever making. So, all that to say, sorry, so long of a tangent, but this is yarn that I got from Flock. It is the pattern that I've used for all of my socks is the Vanilla Sock by the Crazy Sock Lady. I very much enjoy her YouTube tutorial. I hardly even look at the actual pattern. I mainly just pull up the YouTube tutorial once I get to the sections. But the yarn is Fandom Fibers Supernatural Sock in the color Lumity. It is a self-striping sock yarn, which I knew this was something on my list that I did want to buy from Flock, is a self-striping yarn. It is beautiful. I love all of the colors. And for the contrast heel and toe, I'm just using a random mini that I bought at some booth in Flock. I honestly have no idea, in this just purple color. For the sock, I did 2x2 cuff. I think I did 25 rounds, and then I do a 64 cast on sock. And yeah, I'm on my second one. I'm on the cuff. I haven't worked on it in a very long time because that's kind of my travel project. And lore drop, I recently had surgery, so I have not been traveling a lot. So I've been at home chilling, recovering. So the plan is to take that sock with me back to Alabama when I visit my family, get it done, possibly even take another sock and start another pair. That is something that nobody that knits socks kind of told me via YouTube. Um, they sell sock yarn in 100-gram hanks a lot of the time. And so for example, like, because I guess I do a 64 and the length that I do and everything, I think I have over 50 grams left from my last sock that I made in the main color. So, like, I have enough yarn of this beautiful hand dyed yarn to make two pairs of socks, but what on what earth would I want to make two pair of the exact same socks? Like, that's not fun. So the point is I think that may be my other project that I take with me to Alabama, and I will just make another sock that's exactly the same to give to one of my friends, and I'll be forced to work on it because it's going to be one of two projects that I have, or one of three, I guess, if I take this sock to finish, my cloud blouse, and the second pair of socks. Anyways, so that is my whips. That's my current whips. I am a typical knitter, and I do have a lot of graveyard whips. Maybe we'll go over those one day. But acquisitions. I have again, it was kind of like the finished object situation. Everything I've bought before this podcast is technically an acquisition. And I have let's talk about two acquisitions mainly. Since I am now a sock knitter, I decided that I wanted to jump on the train of the Summerly Colorwork Cuff Club. She's now doing volume 2. I think it started in August, and I just think that's so cute and fun. And I'm not at all going to be delusional and say I'm going to knit every single month in the month or anything like that. As we can see, it's mid September and I haven't started either the August or September. But when I was joining or buying the pattern and thinking about starting to do this, I was like, wait a second, like, I don't have sock yarn. Like, I don't have a stash of sock yarn that I could just pull from and do the month or just do. So I decided that I wanted to create a little stash of sock yarn. So I did, and Knit Picks was having their Labor Day sale. I think it was 25% off, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. For some reason, I feel like I paid $4.99 for each skein, but $4.99 may be the price. Let me see if I can easily pull it up. $4.99 may be the price that it was before the discount. No, there's no way I can easily pull it up right now. Okay, anyways, if I can figure it out, it'll be on the screen. But I bought a bunch of different colors, common colors that I think that I would use in their sock yarn, the Knit Pick sock yarn. I think it's called Strava. Or am I crazy and that's just a running app? Not sure. But I specifically got yarns that I knew that I would use for possibly a fall sock and a winter sock. Even if I don't do the Summerly patterns, I could make my own like stripey or just contrast sock for a fall and a Christmassy sock. But so I bought those colors and then just a few other colors that I thought may be useful to have on hand for color work. So that was my first like big acquisition. And then my next one is so exciting. It got here a while ago. I've only worn it a few times, but it is this knitter hat. I actually bought this from a fellow YouTuber that I watch. I'll put her information up on the screen. She made this. I don't know what it's called because I'm not a sewer at all, but it's this like chain style. I'm not sure if that's in frame, but it's just this beautiful hat that says knitter in this like denim, like dark denim. I wanted it to be kind of like neutral but vintage, and it is the cutest thing in the world. I absolutely love it. I wore it on a walk the other day. I probably look crazy. But I think that sorry. I think that it was like $35. But the hat itself seems very well made and the details are just so fun and it's always so nice to like have a way to support another knitter because it's just nice and it's great. So that's my last acquisition. I highly recommend if she's still selling them, I highly recommend that you get one. It's so cute. Yeah. So that's everything for my first podcast. Hopefully this filming went well because I will not be bothered to film this again. But yeah, it was nice meeting you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you come back again. And I hope I managed to do one of these again. Because not to be crazy, but try being an influencer for a day. No, I'm kidding. But it is a lot of work to set all this up. Like you don't really think about it until you actually have to do it. But either way, it was nice meeting you guys. Nice talking to you. I hope you liked it. I hope you subscribe. I hope you come back and I see you again. So, thank you.